to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today we continue our anticipation for the final reckoning with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the fourth film in this wonderful, wonderful franchise. It was released on December 21st, 2011. It was written for the screen by, I scrolled way down there, Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec, based on the television series by Bruce Geller, and directed by Brad Bird. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And Brad Bird may be a name familiar to those of us who are big fans of good movies, because this man's three movie run from 1999 to 2007, The Iron Giant, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, and then Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was the next one. So fuck with him, you know he got it. That's quite the director there.
Okay, yeah, I had no inclination at all that this dude would be making Pixar movies or The Incredibles, but that's awesome. I love The Incredibles and Ratatouille. That fucks even. Yeah, I don't know. The actually good movies. And this was. Oh my God! I feel like I didn't really get a chance to breathe. It was like, oh my God! This was just, the tension was just high the entire movie. They were doing something every single second of the runtime. It was in a good way though. I feel like I might be saying or leading down a bad path, but no, this one was. It started to just get holy shit. It felt a little John Wick-esque, kind of like incommunicado, you know, and everyone's kind of after you, sort of. I don't know. It had a whole different feeling to it than the first three. But yeah, good change though. I think this is a I don't know. I like the direction that the continuity seems to be heading in with everything going down. So, but yeah, a fun one, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I adore this one. This is the first one that feels like I describe Mission Impossible 3 as kind of setting the tone for the direction of the franchise from now on. Mm-hmm. That was more in sentiment, in writing, in the sort of story beat, you know? This visually and filmmaking wise is a little bit more on par with what you're going to expect the next couple movies, which is very, very quality. You know, it's unquestionably good. You know, and I think that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. There's a lot of fun, interesting sort of behind the scenes speculation about this point in the franchise. That it was 2011, so it's 5 years after Mission Impossible 3. Yeah. You know, we're entering a new era kind of action filmmaking. The last movie, Mission Impossible 3, was prior to the superhero boom that happens in like 2008 to 2010. It was the first one on the other side of that. We got Jeremy Renner in the mix. He's becoming a little bit of an action star. So there was a little speculation that Jeremy Renner was being eyed originally to kind of take over the franchise. Like, okay, we did this thing with Tom Cruise for 3 movies. Here's a transitionary movie. The next ones will be Jeremy Renner's. And it became very clear very quickly that was not going to happen. There is no Mission Impossible without Tom Cruise being the face of it.
That is tough. Surprisingly, I did kind of get that feeling a little bit while watching. I thought maybe not as replaced and we're going with Jeremy Renner. I had the thought if there was going to be a switcheroo, if there was going to be a, you know, at the beginning of, was it 3 or was it whatever, it wasn't Ethan, and it was someone playing Ethan. It wasn't Ethan at the beginning, and then now we actually meet real Ethan. he was in prison at first. He was kind of acting a little bit different, and I'm like, wait, is this him? I feel like I'm always just, I don't know. For these, it's always fun to figure out. And then whenever, I don't know, it kind of disappeared as I watched the movie. I'm like, oh no, this is Ethan. He just, I don't know. I didn't quite have the whole wife thing happen, all of that lore yet, so I didn't know why he was all acting different. But I thought Jeremy Renner for a second. The theory came back. I'm like, wait a minute, is that really Ethan right now? I'm like, hold on. I'm like, is that actually Ethan? And then Ethan is someone else. And I'm like, so I was in my head of if Ethan was actually
no, surprisingly
him.
Little of that. That's what's so fucking interesting about this movie and its use of the IMF tech, I think, is that it's probably the most sci-fi tech that they introduce. They've got the fucking thing that creates a hole in the ground, the magnet suit that holds people up, like all that stuff. True. Like there's a bunch of shit. But what's also funny is that every single thing malfunctions at some point, which is very, very fun.
Yeah, the fucking mask. They were trying to get a mask, and then it just paint splurt. Which does create the most interesting sequence in the film, or like one of them. That's true. I mean, I am glad that the mask actually wasn't there. That's fair. But yeah, it was was there even a single actual mask? I know there was one used by what's the evil dude? Fucking Nicholson?
Yeah, Michael Nyqvist.
Was that his name in the movie?
No, it was Kirk. Yeah,
Hendricks?
Kirk Hendricks.
There it is. Yeah, Hendricks. I feel like he wore a mask at one point. He hopped on a truck and then took it off.
Yeah,
he was like,
he was wearing the mask of Wistrom.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Which there's kind of a. I don't think there's any reason to believe that Wistrom is like a real fucking dude.
Yeah, that's what.
ever. It might just be him the whole fucking time.
That's just his disguise that he goes under.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I didn't even think of that until now. But yeah, he didn't even.
Well, and
feel
I don't know.
person.
I might be falsely recollecting there, but I don't know. I don't think they're ever on screen together. I think that this guy is a wholly separate entity that they just kind of go like, and he acts for him.
Yeah,
and it's like, because he is him.
He's in that double meeting. He's in that there. But yeah, it's right after that he runs off and he takes off the mask. Yeah, it is him.
Takes off the mask.
Yeah, so yeah, is it just him the whole time? Yeah, I mean, fuck, it might be. But I guess the point I was trying to make is that is that the only mask that is used in the whole movie? Like, I don't think Ethan actually, or on the good side, IMF, because he goes undercover as the general, but he's just wearing, a mustache,
he's just wearing makeup
and and shit. So, but yeah, not even a single mask was used here. It was almost like they were trying to make it a point that I don't know, all the tech would fail, or that they...
Yeah, no, it's actually... Brad Bird expressly wanted every piece of tech to fail in the movie. That's kind of something he wanted to make happen. Another thing that I really, really enjoy, just from a movie-making perspective, is that sequence that they are trying to set up would be confusing as shit if they have masks on.
That's true. Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my brain
like they were like they literally cannot have masks for you to be able to follow it, which is funny, and obviously, they wouldn't have written the scene that way if they were going to use masks. It would have been a wholly different setup, but like I like thinking about that as well. Like eventually, if they hadn't and they just like ran into a problem that was like, oh shit, maybe this would be confusing as fuck. They obviously didn't, but it's funny to think that that's from a movie making perspective something they had to do with that scene, or else it wasn't. And also, just getting all your actors on screen together, like getting Paula Patton to act across from not Michael Nyqvist, because it's actually the dude playing Wistrom.
Yep.
What's his name? Samuel Edelman.
Oh wow.
Samuel Edelman and Ivan Shvedov, with Paula Patton and Simon Pegg kind of walking around in there, and then you get Lea Seydoux acting across from Tom Cruise, and that's just good. Damn. That's just good. I'm just there. I love Lea Seydoux, so there's nothing she could do in a movie that I would be like, don't know if I liked that, because I do. I know I do.
I mean, I know her from The Beast, and I love her in that. I was trying to think if I know her from anywhere else. It was bugging me. It was like
The French Dispatch.
okay. Oh my God, thank you. I was like,
Yeah.
there has to be something that I am just absolutely missing. But yeah, no,
Yeah, she's Simone from Cell Block J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't understand her. I don't know. I texted you that she just has this actor juice. She has something to her. We're just on screen. I don't know. Every shot that she was on screen, whenever she killed Hanaway, which I know that dude. He plays in Lost. I don't know. That was like a
Josh
really
Holloway.
Weird. Like, oh, I haven't seen that show in forever. But like, even whenever she's just killing him, walking in the street, like she's just looking unsuspecting at first. He doesn't know she's an assassin, but like, it's just her outfit, the way she's like I don't know. It's everything about her. Like every time she's on screen, even in the chairs, take a seat, in the double meet. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I just have a crush on her. I'm not sure, but it's just I don't know.
She's one of those. It's interesting, we've talked about previously the most gorgeous people to be shot on film. Like the way James Cameron shot Kate Winslet in Titanic, and the way Michael Curtis shot Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca, and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong; those women are fucking beautiful. Like, there's nothing about them that's like, oh, well, they're obviously getting help from the camera. No, like they are unbelievably drop dead gorgeous people, some of the most gorgeous people to ever live. But you can tell the director also thought that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening here. I think that's just how attractive Léa Seydoux is.
Yeah.
Now, conversely, I do think Wes Anderson thought that in The French Dispatch, and that's why she's as beautiful as she is there. That's the sort of thing that like we're dealing when it comes to the Mission Impossible franchise. Thus far, this is the biggest loss in the franchise. Is Léa Seydoux. As far as like someone who would have like fit like a fucking glove later on. Like you have no frame of reference for this, but in 7 specifically, there is just this cast of femme fatales that are just like, holy shit, all these women are so fucking badass and also beautiful.
Damn.
And it's like, and it's kind of like a little bit of a reunion. There's a few from a couple movies that show up in the same place, and you're like, oh, it would have just been perfect for Léa Seydoux to be kind of there at the same time. But no. And to this point, also, conversely, there haven't been many big losses in the Mission Impossible franchise. So like, there's that also where I can comfortably say Léa Seydoux is the biggest loss. But
yeah, I need. Is Tilda Swinton? Does she ever pop up? I don't know why.
No, but she would fit like a glove too.
Yeah, I don't know why that just thought hit me. Like the killer, her in there, like her kind of character would be. But
she would be a vibe there.
Man, yeah, just falling up. Whenever she was kicked out of the window, I was just like, fuck. I was like, I was actually, I get it. It was like, yeah, she did kill your husband or not husband. I don't know. I guess boyfriend. I don't know what they
boyfriend
kind of were. But like, yeah, I get why you want to kill her, and it did feel good.
Yeah,
but
and on the flip side, I'm gonna spoil something because this sucks. Paula Patton's not in any more of these movies, and she absolutely should be. I love Paula Patton in this, and I generally really enjoy Paula Patton. She was. I texted you about that movie Deja Vu the other day with Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
she's the lead actress in that movie, and she is fucking incredible. So like, I like Paula Patton a lot, and I really really like her in this. And there's one moment that she pulls off that like we're watching Twin Peaks on Fire Pod with me right now. And I've drawn attention to Madchen Amick a lot for the way she plays horny. When Tom Cruise and Paula Patton kiss, Paula Patton does the most convincingly aroused look I've ever seen in my life. Like I was like, whoa, she wants him bad.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. And maybe, there was kind of a moment for Simon Pegg as well. He was like, hey, this is kind of a dream for me. I'm kind of on the field with you. I feel like that was kind of like a fourth wall break thing for him.
A little bit.
Maybe here too. Maybe this was like, holy shit, I'm kissing Tom Cruise right now. Like I am making
she like shudders and the eyes she makes at her. Like, dude, it was, I was like, holy fucking shit, but like, and even beyond that, obviously, Paula Patton does an incredible job. But yeah, her and Leah Seydoux getting to throw down after that whole sequence in the double meeting was a great scene as well. And again, yeah, we're just adding to the collection of gorgeous, unbelievably beautiful people that are in the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yeah,
and it will only continue to grow, that list.
Man,
but
she
yeah,
picked
Paula
up
Patton
the
and
phone at the end, man. What the f?
yeah,
like,
it sucks because you know who is in later movies is the other two people who picked up phones, which kind of pisses me off. You know, like I'm
The
like,
men.
yeah, I wonder if there is something behind the scenes that prevented Paula Patton from coming back, but I don't know. She was.
Yeah,
I liked her a lot. You know, it's a little bit of a disappointment, but
this is a Hollywood thing where the men stick around and there's an ever-changing cycle of women
100%.
Damn,
100%.
that's really. I really thought those because I don't know they were kind of building her up to be like, no, this is the team. You know, this is all that's left of the IMF. And
well,
and
I do think that maybe given the original direction for what the idea of this movie was. It probably was the case. You know, they were probably looking at something that was going to be Jeremy Renner with a supporting cast of Simon Pegg and Paula Patton. And then it shifts back to Ethan Hunt, and Ethan Hunt, Jeremy Renner is isn't in a lot of these movies by any stretch. Like I think he's only in one other movie.
Okay.
So like, and even then, I don't think he's super prevalent in that movie. Like, it's like once it shifts back to Ethan Hunt, it's his team. It's his focus. It's his boys, you know? So, like, this is far and away the smallest role Luther will ever have.
Yeah, that was at least he was here though. You know, at least I was really glad whenever he did show up at
You actually said that. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
You're always so corny, Ethan.
Yeah, corny. That's right. That's what, man. But and I don't know. Nice to, I guess, they did say, you know, this is the rest of the IMF. It's all that's left. But, you know, if Luther's out there, there's, you know.
No, yeah. Well, and you know, once I think that they say this is all that's left of the IMF in spirit. Like, they're the only ones like on a mission.
Active work, yeah.
Nobody else knows that this is happening. We've all been disavowed, so
True.
They don't have any information beyond what's in this room.
True.
Now, I think that the IMF may be reactivated with the evidence against Hendricks and stuff, but
that's true.
Yeah,
yeah. Now
it's
the police guy. That was, I don't know, one of my favorite. Nothing was said.
You are not my enemy. Yeah.
Tom Cruise didn't, you know, just nods, but I almost took that down as my line of just like, you know, like, oh, no, yeah, no other way I'd figure this out, right? And he's like, yup. He's like, oh, so like hospital, like maybe now? He's like, yeah, I'm ready for that, bro.
God, and that's why Ethan Hunt is the shit, bro. He is just putting his fucking life on the line to save the world at every turn in the most stupid batshit Looney Tunes ass ways. It's so fun. Like whenever he just jumps and he like nails his face on the side of the car, I love it. And like, there's something so funny about how they're able to build the tension. Like you know that nuke gets launched and that nuke gets very, very close, you know, and it's feasible that it's like, you know, there are 3 more Mission Impossible movies, 4 more after the 8th one. And you're going, well, I guess one nuke could go off in New York. I guess that's not unfeasible, you know, like maybe New York gets nuked in the Mission Impossible franchise, you know, so like the tension's still there, but you also have no doubt that somehow Ethan Hunt's going to pull it off. Which is an awesome combination of factors to be able to pull off effectively is an absolute faith in your protagonist and still being on the edge of your seat for what may be a world-ending threat. And I think that that's something that these next several movies and the previous 2 movies have towed the line with very, very effectively. You know, when it came to MI2, you were like, well, the toxin might get out, it might infect Australia, maybe a few people die, but ultimately Ethan Hunt's going to figure out a way to save them. You know, like you're like, I feel like that's the rabbit's foot. The rabbit's foot might make it to that arms dealer in the Middle East, but Ethan Hunt's going to figure out a way to stop him. You know, like that's always going to be that there's always something where you're like, well, Ethan Hunt's going to figure it out, right? You know, and I think that's why ultimately he has not been I've not been able to go with anybody else for characters because
Yeah.
every time I'm like, it's just Ethan Hunt, man.
It's kind of impossible. I mean, yeah, I never doubted him ever. Like he's doing the main mission. He has to hit the button on the football. I was more like, are they going to get the power back on? Are they going to do? Is everyone else going to lock in? And it was nice to actually have that where it isn't just Ethan. It is like everyone else, like actually coming in and working together. Because
Ethan Hunt and friends save the world. That's the Mission Impossible franchise after 3. It's wonderful.
They thought it was over, like, oh, missiles in the air, it's over, nothing we can do. And Ethan was the only one to be like, no, there has to be an abort.
Got to be a way to deactivate it.
There has to be a way. And like he kept it going. And oh my God, I can't believe I didn't watch this movie earlier. This was the car that they have in Dubai here, the good old BMW.
The BMW.
Literally, it was my dream car at one point. I thought that there's no other car on the planet that looks more futuristic than this. And I'm like, I mean, this was 2011. Oh my God, that's kind of crazy to think about that. Like my 11-year-old brain was like, this is the car I will buy one day. I don't know. And like, I don't know, maybe, I guess if I really got it like that, I don't think so.
Maybe if things go the way you want. Yeah.
But no, this, man, it was, whenever he said like, just wait till you see the car. And they did kind of spoil it, I guess. It was in the opening of the movie.
That's a thing that they do from now on, and they have done a little bit. This one was the most movie they've shown, though.
They really just went through the whole thing. I was like, at first I didn't really realize it. I thought it was just like a generic kind of opening, whatever. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'm watching the movie I'm about to watch right now.
Yeah.
And then, the car was the only thing that clicked in my head.
They do that every movie from now on too. And I think the only one that didn't do it was MI3. Because MI3's is like really brief. They don't. It's just like they light the fuse, and I also like that light the fuse, and it's literally in frame them lighting it, and then the title sequence starts, which is the first time they've done that, which is sick.
Yeah.
But MI3, it's just the wick. I don't know what else to call it. I can't remember what it's actually called. Burning down and names popping up on the screen. I think the first 2 movies actually do have a little bit of the flashes of what's to come. This one is like there's a part of it wherever Tom Cruise points the gun at Jeremy Renner and Jeremy Renner disarms him and points the gun back at him in the opening sequence.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Okay. I probably saw it, but yeah, I didn't I didn't know.
Yeah, the context. The part whenever he's on the side of the Burj Khalifa and looks back at the sandstorm is in the opening sequence too.
Yeah, that at least I knew. I knew the dude climbed the Burj Khalifa. I've seen the picture. But I didn't. I didn't know. I mean, obviously he's on wires and stuff, but man, I didn't know how cool the shots would actually look of like the
gorgeous.
Barrel down, like looking to
the
ground was. Oh my Lord!
That's the advantage. Of Tom Cruise being the one who fucking does it,
Yeah.
When it comes to having a stunt double, you got to find a way to shoot it without showing his fucking face. This way, if it's just Tom Cruise doing it, you can literally shoot it however you want to shoot it. You can come up with the best possible angle, even if it shows his face. So like there's something to be said for Tom Cruise being willing to die for his fucking movies, dog. Like that's
man. Yeah, that's
and I'm sure, like you said, I'm sure he's on wires and stuff. He's obviously not doing this technology doesn't exist. So like he does have to do that.
But still, that's one carabiner going loose, and then see you later. That's Leah Seydoux, that's usually in Star Wars and stuff, if you see someone fall down a long pit or you just don't see him die. This one, that's the Burj Khalifa there. I don't, that's just...
It's not some bottomless pit. No, she's landing in the United Emirates,
I thought, because it went to the ground, or like Ethan was on the ground, I thought we were going to see her body plop, like because it showed her being kicked out and then it went to the ground.
And him running.
Yeah, I thought like, oh my God, no way. Like, are we going to just see, or just like a splat? And I'm like, okay, good. I don't know. Glad Maybe not. Yeah, that was
one of my favorite shots. I mean, a lot of great shots. That chase sequence after the Burj Khalifa is an exhilarating sequence. The sandstorm chase, love it. Just him running, outpacing the storm for a little bit. The overhead shot of them running with their shadows on the ground, gorgeous. And then the shadows being overtaken by the storm, awesome. So they do that whole sequence, that whole fucking thing. The last shot of that sequence is Tom Cruise standing after the guy's gotten away and like pulled off the mask a little bit.
Yeah.
And in the background, like miles away, is the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
Which is where the chase starts, and showing like how far he just fucking gunned it for this guy was. I've never noticed that shot particularly, and then I was like, oh, that's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess because
like,
to me, I guess what I noticed is like, oh my God, bro just ran with the storm. They were going like as fast to track it because he was at the end of it. Like it like, I don't know. Then it was pure daylight after, which was like, oh my Lord. And like, is this a common thing in Dubai? Like, do this be happening, just on a given weekend? Do you have a sandstorm like this actually running straight through?
Yeah, I would believe it. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know how accurate it is in terms of size or anything, but
because
I imagine any place that has just massive amounts of desert surrounding it, like Dubai does, it's got to be something that occasionally happens.
Because I mean, but to this, I feel like the cleanup, like. I always see that place, it's spotless. It is like it, and that's like everything about, I don't know, those buildings and shit. But like the cleanup of this would be insane. Like I feel like it's, I don't know. But at least to me, it almost seemed that Hendrix was like bringing it in. Like this dude knew that this storm would be here because I don't know. It seemed that he had a way or something to like bring it in because I don't know. It seemed he was always one step ahead of like, he knew where the launch codes were and that they were going after them, but he got them before they were even there and then framed them for the bombing of like he had this whole plan of framing the IMF and Ethan and everyone for all these acts in America, really. So, to start his war, whatever. So peace could finally, whatever. But like, so it was... At least I thought that they were going to be like, yeah, no, homie.
Oh, that's just such a fucking ridiculous perspective to hold, like the way he's like, I look at places like Hiroshima and Nagasaki and I see places rebuilt better than ever. I'm like, yeah, maybe you ask the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki if they feel glad that nuclear bombs went off there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? I don't know. Like, the rebuilding effort can lead to prosperity, but you know what also leads to prosperity? Not getting nuked.
Yeah, not having to rebuild actually is a good thing. And I guess like it's true. Like there have been cycles that the Earth has gone through, and like no doubt.
But like he says, they've been natural.
Yeah,
it's like naturally occurring disasters.
Yeah, and maybe it's scary to say that we might be causing the next one. It's like and accelerating it. I think that, but yeah, to say that it is the catalyst for like actual progression, it's like, well, no, it actually it sets you back quite a ways. And you have to figure everything out again. But yeah, I don't know. It is this kind of human is I hate this human because I know there's at least one of these fuckers out there. 100% there is someone out there that thinks the world should have been blown up. I mean, at one point I was like, I don't think humanity deserves Earth. If I could hit the big red button, I would. I can't believe I was ever in that state of mind. But it was more out of like, it's like we don't appreciate life as we should, instead of like everyone needs to die,
which is ironic.
Change,
like that is what's funny is that it's a commonly held nihilistic belief that if we were to cease existing, it would hardly change the grand scope of the cosmos and all that good stuff. But it would change a lot of stuff here. It would change a lot of stuff to the people who are actually existent.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like, It is a really, really interesting villain. I find this villain to be one of the more forgettable.
Yeah.
When it comes to the franchise, we do get a great stinger at the end of this movie. Whenever he puts the headphones in and puts the hood up and disappears, about the syndicate.
Yeah.
That is the first tease we've ever gotten that is actually followed through on. The syndicate is a problem to deal with for the next couple movies.
I feel like I don't know why I've heard that, why I know that that's related to Mission Impossible, but I don't know in what capacity or what the context is, but I don't know, the syndicate, that feels, I don't know. Yeah, it feels Mission Impossible-y, but I can't put my finger on it. But yeah, I don't know. This one, it was very clear. It's like, all right, here's the phones. Here's your mission if you choose to accept it. Oh, badass line, by the way. Love that Ethan is eventually, he's stepping into that kind of leader role, and he's like gonna be kind of still an agent, but like heading the IMF sort of thing. And it's like,
well, and I love that he flips the line. He goes, "Your mission." And then he looks at them and he nods. He goes, "Choose to accept it." Like he tells them, this is the squad. Choose to accept it. I love it. I love it.
He's too good. I don't know. The Ethan. It's just even though it's crazy to me. I guess the only thing that was in my head of making me think this isn't Ethan Hunt is because of every time he had to jump or do like a stunt, he kind of was scared at first. Like he was like, "Oh, I have to climb the Burj Khalifa." But like the fucking pendulum swing, it was instantaneous. Bro was like, it was for his wife. He only had like very, very, very limited time. So he was like, "Yes, this is just what I have to do. I'm fucking doing it." But like there were like moments where he's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know about it.
Whenever he's like, the only way to do it is outside. And he's like, well, and frankly, if he can think of another way, why not? And he does very quickly. He's like, this way, this way, this way. And they're like, no, no, no. And he's like, all right, guess I'm doing that then, So like, there is that perspective, but,
he just didn't feel, I guess, as fearless, I guess, as he once did before.
Which I do think that's a good thing, personally. I think it's a good thing that he's not immune to fear.
Yeah, he's got a wife
but
now.
What makes bravery. That's what makes bravery is being afraid to do it in the first place. But
the Jeremy Renner thing, like you even said like he was gonna be the future, or like maybe whatever. But like even in this movie, he's really only here to usher in the Ethan lore, like the wife drop, and all of that. It's cool that he is an analyst. It's cool that he was an agent. He has skills and everything like that. But like it was really just to push Ethan's story, kind of. At the end of the day. So yeah,
well, the way that I'm talking about was an early version of the script. They evolved it to the point where they were like, oh well, that's not going to be what we do.
That'd be a weird world. Yeah, Jeremy Renner. No, and I'm learning to.
Well,
the franchise
wouldn't have an 8th movie coming out.
That's true. Yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, it would have died pretty.
Like that's the strength of this guy and him in these movies is that like I'm certain they would have gotten one, maybe two more.
Yep.
They would have gotten a 5th, maybe a 6th, but here we are, 15 years later, getting an 8th.
And probably that's why 9th. Like even though it says final, god damn it, they'll.
Yeah, it's being very, very, it's being very pushed as the last though. So like hopefully, they can honor their word or something like that, but.
I don't know. John Wick come back from the fucking dead.
We got John Wick 5 for sure.
Like, we'll have Ethan Hunt versus John Wick zombie, movies. I don't know, like the Jason versus I don't know, but no, these. I guess these.
Oh God, I'd give anything for an Ethan Hunt John Wick team up.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that we do have Ethan Hunt or Tom for the next movies and not Jeremy Renner. Even though off Arrival and here, I love I think it was just Hawkeye that put a bad sting in my mouth for Jeremy Renner. I guess some of the IRL things, he just seems kind of like a type of a person that is, I don't know, just that I wouldn't fully like all the way. But his role in Arrival I do really like, and here I thought he was good. So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
I'm with
maybe
you. I'm with you.
I don't want to judge people too quickly.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that Hawkeye wise, it's very hit or miss. You know, there are certain movies where he's really, really good as Hawkeye. There are certain movies where he's not written particularly well, and therefore it's kind of a moot point whether or not he's good. You know, and that's why I think that this movie and Arrival, like you said, very, very good examples of good Jeremy Renner performances and good Jeremy Renner movies. And he does do a great job. I mean, my favorite, even with Jeremy Renner, and sorry. Frog in my throat. But even with Jeremy Renner and even Paula Patton, who is probably one of my favorite, crew members of the franchise so far, I think that this was the movie that they just really emphasized that a lot more. One, he was kind of alone. It's kind of the point, except for Bro's wife. 2, Luther's there, and they've got that Australian who does shit too.
Oh yeah, true.
3 is when they build the team. They have a squad. You got Maggie Q there. The guy who's like, all I ever do is whatever the fuck, and Luther, and so like we've got that vibe a little bit more. This is the vibe of the team from here on. Like this is the context, I guess. But Simon Pegg is my favorite. I love Simon Pegg. I think he is absolutely incredible. I think that there is him as Benji, 100%. And there's a lot of stuff that I love with J.J. Abrams' Mission Impossible 3. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. The best thing about Mission Impossible 3 that lasts is Simon Pegg. Like that is and frankly, the wife stuff. The wife stuff is great. I'm very, very glad that in a movie where a relationship can be, absolutely rushed, there's no context for it. They're about to be married. They're in love. That's all we know about them. And that's all you need to know about them. And then it can come back around and create an emotional finish like this one. Like my favorite scene, I want it to be any of the epic action sequences. I want it to be, but dude, whenever she turns around outside of that restaurant and sees him and he sees her, I have no choice. That's my favorite moment of the movie. That just hits like a ton of bricks. And it again re-emphasizes how good of a guy Ethan Hunt is. It re-emphasizes how strong a relationship that him and Julia had. And just the kind of unraveling of it, this legend around what happened to his wife, and then this being the answer, that he hid her, and he was also going undercover for a mission. It was just the perfect cover up. So that was that, and that's what's cool is she was kidnapped. That's not something that didn't happen. He took advantage of it.
Yeah, to fake her own death. Yeah.
Yes.
It was, because at that point, Jeremy Renner still thinks like she's dead, and then he's watching her as he's telling
dude, and
him,
that slow build up of her like getting off, and like we slowly zoom in with every single cutback. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
The music, dude. Michael Giacchino. My fucking dog. This man cooks. I love the music. And there's a little flare that happens whenever she turns around, and it reminds me a lot of what he does with the Batman, with like the last musical sting in the Batman as they ride off in separate directions. Like there's like this da 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 on like strings that's fucking gorgeous, and I can't replicate it obviously because it's just in the movie and it's done with instruments. But man, I love him scoring movies, and he scored both this and MI3. So I'm obviously very pleased, but it got better and better this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. The opening, I feel like I might go with the opening for a lot of these movies. I don't know. I feel like it might be a staple, is just to kind of have a really cool opening sequence. But this prison breakout with the needle drop of like at the end of the song, he just has to be wherever he has to be, and I'm waiting for whatever the fuck that is, and it happens to be a whatever the hell black hole device hole through the seal. I don't whatever the hell that is. But like I loved that like they said, you know, he just has to be in the spot by the end of the song, and then they play the theme song, and then like at the end of it is when the actual explosion goes off, you know, or I don't know. It was kind of a double kind of play there.
Ain't that
and
a kick? Yeah.
But man, just a really good song.
I love that song.
Yeah, so that was
Dean Martin there. I love one of the recent great trailers. Mickey 17 used that as the as the song in the trailer, and it was just perfect tonally for that movie. But I also like an action sequence where dudes are getting their shit rocked with "Ain't That a Kick in the Head" in the background is fucking awesome. Yep. And that whole thing where he like gets to the door and he does the signal, and Simon Pegg's talking to him but he can't hear him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." You know, like I'm not going to do it. You know, you can.
Okay.
Oh, now you're wait.
Wow.
I can wait. I can wait too. You know. All right, fine. And then I love it. And
open up all of them, or open them all.
Open all the doors. Yeah, it's.
Dude,
it's
the
great.
punches he gives out when he just needs to be quick. It is like the Batman 1-2, you know, just whenever boom, boom, bro is just efficient with it. And the slamming the gates closed to get them locked, or like, I don't know, him throwing the rock in the room, you know, just and like he's fucking Bullseye or fucking Deadshot or whatever. I don't know. He's he's got it like that as well.
Michael Rooker at the beginning of the Suicide Squad with the bouncy ball.
That's even better. There you go. More, but he's like, I don't know. Every opening sequence so far has been pretty cool, but this one was a little with the needle drop, and then the theme needle drop. There was just a lot kind of going on. I thought it was sick.
Oh, dude, we've got like I fucking love this franchise, dude. It's so good, and like it's crazy that we're at a point where we only have 3 movies.
Yeah.
Left before the 8th one. And it's also crazy that I can say only about 3 movies. Because there's so much that happens in these 3 movies that's so fucking good, dude. I'm so excited. And Ghost Protocol is just like kind of this perfect halfway mark for what is right now. It's absolutely this shift towards the 2010s, you know, like it's much more 2010s action filmmaking, you know, like the 96 Mission Impossible. We talked about this with MI2 specifically, is kind of timeless. You know, there's it could be older than 96 and you wouldn't know, you know, like it could be like it's that good, that timeless, everything. MI2 obviously a 2000 movie.
Yeah.
Obviously came from 2000. MI3 just in its direction and its color grading and everything, that is a 2006 movie. Like the color burn, overblown exposure, green and blue hues on everything. Like that's 2005, 2006 type shit. Now this isn't timeless either, Ghost Protocol, but it does have the 2010s blockbuster filmmaking sheen, which is for me, on the whole, generally better than the 2020s. Blockbuster sheen that you'll see on modern movies. There's still you know, like it's a little bit different, and you know that's a very big blanket statement. I don't want to make it sound like I'm like all 2020s blockbusters suck ass. No, they don't. There've been, I mean, we're gonna get to one in this franchise that I really really love. You know, we talked about John Wick earlier. John Wick 4, incredible blockbuster. Barbie, incredible blockbuster. Oppenheimer, incredible blockbuster. Like I'm not trying to dismiss anything from this decade by any stretch, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and it just gets better. It just gets better and better.
Yeah, this it's not MI1. MI1 is for sure the most timeless one, and it does stick out, you know, visually compared to all the rest of them. This one, I'd say, is the closest to it. Not maybe for camera techniques and how it really looks, but just kind of like anytime they had like pistols, I don't know, and with like they were all silenced up. They looked just very I don't like. It felt like they were clashing the super new tech and the crazy whatever stuff they had with like the old timey noir, like not noir silence pistol, but just classic. I don't know, spy.
Yeah. Well, and there's something that, you know, the problem with 2 and 3 feeling so of their time, like of their specific era, is that actually affects them in a negative way where I feel like this captures that travelogue, international intrigue thing that the first movie really, really had in spades. You know, like we go to Langley, we're in London, we're in Prague, you know, we're all over the place. And then in this movie, we're in Dubai, we're in India, you know, we're here, we're there. We do a little bit of that in 2 and 3. But I don't really remember it like that.
Yeah.
You know, everything feels the same. We're just kind of all like there's something unique and distinctive about every location in this movie and in the first movie that makes you feel every single moment in those places. And I think that's part of what makes this harken back to the first one so effectively is that you really get a sense of scale for the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and the stakes were always there. That's for sure. Like it was always like, I don't know, it could have gone left at any moment. The dude was, I mean, yeah, when you have someone that is just willing to end the world at any given moment, you know, that's like, it is just kind of a MacGuffin in himself. Like the Hendrix, like that's maybe why he's a little forgettable is it's more of his action or more of his like, that he, I don't know, that he's important for, not really himself. And then, yeah, I love that, you know, I thought he was dead, and I'm like, oh no, that dude's waking back up. Like whenever they kept going back to his body and showing him next to the case, I'm like, oh, he's waking back up. I thought he was actually
just alive enough to watch his plan fail. Fucking
that was
good,
even
fucking
better.
Good.
I was like, don't let him actually fight. Don't give him like another boost of adrenaline or like so he actually stops him. And I'm like, no, but that was I loved that because early, like what was it? The other agent, Hanaway.
Yeah, Hanaway.
You know,
she let him live just long enough for me to watch him die. Yeah,
it was kind of a nice callback to that. And so yeah, it was. I like the way he died. That was very satisfying. But yeah, as a villain goes, not probably will be forgettable. It's just more of what he stands for, or what his actions
and
were.
What he stands for. Actually, the nuclear threat much more important in the next few movies.
It's not like it's weird whenever the tension shifts from like, oh, this is a movie threat, and then I'm like, oh my god, wait, a nuke is on its way to New York City, and I'm like, oh my god, wait a minute, like, and their own government is saying it's a meteor, and then I'm like, and then I start to think of the real world, you know, possibly whatever, and then it's I've gotten to the point where it's like nukes have existed before I was born, they've been here for a long time, and we're still here, you know, the planet's still turning. I gotta not have that fear just baked in the back of my head at all times.
It's a terrifying one though. It is, you know, and that is one of those things where it's like a weaponized virus. Yes, feasible, could happen. But you know, it's not an immediately pressing threat where we're like, oh, we know this country has them in the hundreds. You know, like you know, when it comes to the knock list. Yeah, probably a problem for an agency somewhere. I don't give a shit about that.
True.
You know,
it doesn't.
The rabbit's foot. I don't even know what that fucking thing does. You know, like so like I don't even care really. I just know that it could be a problem. You know, so like, but this it becomes like, we hear about nuclear, the potential for nuclear war every few years. You know, like it's terrifying. But
and it hit the damn building. The missile, and in the real world, sadly, the nuke would have gone off. They blew up in the sky to do more damage. You blow it up like a mile above the city to actually increase the blast radius and kill more people. So you know it in the movie, I think it would have actually gone off, and we would have entered a very different world. His plan might have actually worked. But glad it just clipped. Nice little, just a little clip into the what's the
into the water.
That's not the Hudson. That's Boston. That's the that we're in New York. That's the whatever bay, or whatever body of water that is in between Jersey and New York. Is that where it fell? That's where the nuke was. It was New York City. Oh my lord.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, it was a big fucking city. I'm assuming it was Russia's, so it's probably aimed at America. You know, like I'm just going with New York because it was coastal. big buildings.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, that's where I'm at. So that's
Yeah,
not the Hudson. I thought that was the Hudson.
Is that not Boston, or is that not the No, that's the
No, I'm
Boston
pretty
Harbor.
sure.
That's just literally called the
Yeah.
Boston. So it is the Hudson. Yeah, it is the Hudson
Yeah.
River. Okay, okay. I should just trust my gut, maybe more. But yeah. So I guess I don't know. And then the government just being like, nope, it's a meteor. But the other media in the other country or whatever said it was an airplane or like something like that. And then the government's like, no, guys, don't even. It's not even that. Like, it's actually just a natural phenomenon. Don't look into it too closely. It's really scary just to think of, Like, we know of times where we have come close to blowing up the Earth, but how many times are undocumented? How many times that we don't know that it was just behind closed doors and we got super, super close to it? I don't know. Another thing I just maybe not like to think about. But
No, yeah, fuck no,
yeah.
fuck that.
So, but yeah,
yeah, no, I have a great time with the movie, man, and it's another one of those. It's the first one that I do feel. Obviously, you need to have seen the one before.
Yeah, that's true.
And actually, I don't even know how true that is. It just provides a lot of the emotional context for that last scene. But even if you hadn't seen the third one, all you know is that, oh, this guy's wife died. And then at the end, his wife's there. She's alive. So, like, there's a little bit of a, like, if you hadn't seen the other ones, you might go, oh, is that his wife? But, like, context-wise, music-wise, the way it's looking at her-wise, yeah, that's his wife, like. So maybe you don't even need to have seen 3, now that I think about it. But
it just makes things land a little bit harder, I guess. There's
Yeah.
nothing that I think you would get the beats, though, if you were just to jump in here. But, yeah, it would be... I don't know. I feel it... If I'm going to watch Mission Impossible, I have to start with, like, the first one. Yeah, I get your debacle now. It's like, well, I might as well watch them all. It's like, I would maybe go from 1 to 4 and then start the continuity stuff, but it's like, well, if I'm going to go from 1 to 4, there's only 2 movies in between. It's like, might as well
knock them out.
Yeah,
exactly. Because, I mean, and there's a lot of stuff to like in those movies. It's not like they're nothing, they're fun fucking movies. But the continuity does begin to be, and there's little things, like little details in this that I really appreciate too. His Russian alias Sergei, that was in 2.
Yeah.
In 2, that's what the Russian scientist thinks his name is. He calls him Sergei.
That's right. Oh yeah.
So like that's his name over there. Which is funny.
That's awesome.
The mask that gets put on his head is the same as the mask in the first one. Whenever he's going to meet Max for the first time, which I think is just an Easter egg. I don't think it's purposeful. It's just like a little like, oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Look at that. You remember that, right? It's got like the red stitching on the black mask and everything.
Okay, true.
Yeah,
true. I thought you were talking like face mask, like the actual.
No. Like the bag put over his head
face.
whenever he's supposed to go to a secret location. That random fucking arms dealer in the middle of the movie who just kind of shifts things. Like I don't know. I like it. It's
I've got
it's
everything
a lot
I
of,
need. What could you sell me? I don't know. Him just like what weapons was in that? Bro just has a warehouse or a boat or like where were they on?
I don't know. No idea where we are.
But that's I don't know. It was making.
I love
friends,
the sequence in India. I love the sequence in India. Going to the rich guy's house. That whole thing. Incredible sequence. And frankly, this might be the funniest. This might be the funniest Mission Impossible movie.
I'd agree.
And certainly is so far.
Simon Pegg,
but
really, I don't know.
Dude, he really ups the ante.
Yeah,
and Jeremy Renner also, he has a few funny fucking moments
That's
there.
Yeah, like you'll catch me. So like, wait, I think you skipped over a very, very important detail there.
And it was them. It was Simon Pegg and him. They have a great comedic chemistry, Another one of my favorite funny bits in the movie is Paula Patton being rough with the rich guy and him being into it. Because what I love about that is that's not something that dude knew he was into.
Mm-hmm. This was the first time. Yeah, 100%.
This dude
he was
is
like,
intrigued by the fact that he likes it. And
Yeah.
it's so funny to watch because you can tell he's never realized he's into this. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, wait, I'm into this. I like this. It's so funny. I love that whole sequence.
Played out for her well, too, you know?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Oh, so we're truly alone now, right?
Yeah.
You know? No one will interrupt.
Yeah.
Boom! Yeah, and, all right, give us the damn code, dog, or else you'll never be able to speak again. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, sad that she won't. I don't know, she did do awesome. She was,
Yeah, I loved
So
I don't know. That is really interesting. I hope it's more than the simple. It's a revolving door for the women and just the same dudes. But you know, it's probably that, which sucks. But I hope she had prior commitments or something. But
man, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not in knowing that I'm at least still excited for the crew that will remain and the new people who will show. I'm not gonna just doom everyone for not being Paula Patton, you know, or whoever's coming up next.
Oh no, yeah. And frankly, don't get me wrong. As much as I do enjoy Paula Patton, some of the additions we are going to get are better than Paula Patton. Like I enjoy her a great, and she is. You know, when I'm looking at, like I said earlier, the slate of sidekicks, essentially, throughout the movies, she's probably top 3 so far. When it comes to Luther, Benji, I would probably put her right there.
That's true. Yep. Like Luther. Surprising. It's crazy that Luther's like kind of won, but because of how little he's been in, I don't know, just everything. But Benji might have taken the one spot off of this movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like right now, I feel like Benji's number 1, but my true heart still says Luther's number 1.
I mean, Luther and Benji are going to be 1-2 for you, man. The best thing about the movies to come is that Luther and Benji are in them.
That's good. That's a good combo.
And Luther and Benji are homies now. Like that's what we have to look forward
Kind of
to.
Similar guys in the chair that are also okay. I like. They're gonna be sick.
Yeah.
They're gonna be sick.
That's it's something to look forward to. You know, I've mentioned a couple times Rebecca Ferguson. Her first movie is next movie. We get Rebecca Ferguson into the fold. Henry Cavill's in 6. Alec Baldwin is in I think 6. Angela Bassett is in 6.
Okay, yeah.
Vanessa Kirby is in 6. We got a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of great actors and actresses who are going to be entering the fold here before long. But yeah, so and dude, there's something Tom Cruise does in the 5th movie that physically I'm not sure how it's possible for someone that age to pull off.
Yeah,
and you'll know it when you see it. Like, you'll watch him do it, and you'll go, "Oh my fucking god, is that actually Tom Cruise doing that?"
Oh, is this movie? I'm wondering, because I guess the poster. I have the poster right here, and he's holding off the plane. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
No, I mean literally, like not like a stunt. I mean it is a stunt, but not something that I'm like, oh my god, he could have died doing it. No,
like
a
Ninja
literal
Warrior
feat
type thing.
Yes,
like
a
is
literal
it the handcuffs on the pole where he just goes up?
Yes,
yeah. I guess I know. I didn't know it was this movie. I've just seen that clip, and I've heard that was just him actually doing it.
Yes,
which is
it
like
is.
how. Yeah, I am in the same boat as you. I have no fucking clue how I could even come close to attempting. Like, how do you even know you can do that? How do you even know that's a thing that a human body can do in the first place? You know, it's like,
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. But yeah, so therefore, top 2 hottest Cruise movies is Rogue Nation. Probably.
That's true. He does do that with his shirt off, doesn't he? I mean, yeah,
he's ripped up like Rambo.
Yes,
it's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we got like dude, Rogue Nation underrated in the scope of the Mission Impossible franchise for my money. So we've got some good stuff to look forward to. But
I'm ready.
Then I think with that, we might be able to go ahead and do the plugs, and then we'll rate this movie. So if you would, leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. You can check us out on YouTube and subscribe to the Cinementalists, spelt the way it is here. Go ahead and check that out. It's just our episodes. We're not doing video right now, but maybe one day we shall return. Yeah, let's see. We got that going on. 5-star rate and review. Download. That's the name of the game. I would appreciate it greatly. We are currently doing Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast, as I alluded to earlier on in the episode with Mad Shinomic and Paula Patton there. This week we had started Twin Peaks Season 2. And next Monday is Season 2, Episode 2. I'm very, very excited for that. You can go ahead and check that out wherever you're listening to this. Fire Pod with me. If you've never seen Twin Peaks, it is the podcast for you. If you have seen Twin Peaks, it is the podcast for you. You should be watching Twin Peaks regardless. So it's similar in scope to the Mission Impossible movies here. Joe had seen the first one but hadn't seen any of the rest.
Yup.
I've seen Twin Peaks multiple times. I've seen Mission Impossible multiple times. He's never seen either, and we're watching both of them right now. So I'm very pleased, obviously. Let's see what else we got. Next week, I believe, Andor kicks off. Or no, that's today.
Yeah, it has begun.
Yeah, we got the first set of Andor episodes out today on Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Season 2 episodes 1 through 3 got covered today. Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. They will be available a little later on. We do have to record them this morning. This came out bright and early, 7 a.m. Friday morning, so we don't have it out yet. But we will have it out later today. Go ahead and subscribe to that podcast, Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Watch Andor as you should. So yeah, Fulcrum, Fire Pod with me, and the Cinementalists all going on right now. All very pleased with. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and rate MI Ghost Protocol. How we feeling?
Well, I am up on 3, but obviously it's not quite 1. So I know my floor and I know my ceiling. Floor 8, ceiling a 9.5.
It's a big gap.
Yeah,
big gap.
But I think I know I'm closer to 3 than I am 1 overall. I know I'm in the 8s. I don't think this is quite a 9. Here. And how much better is it than the last one? The last one was still great. I'm not going to complain. Like, I don't have many complaints about the last one, actually. I thought it was pretty fun. Just, it might, I don't know, it left me wanting just a little bit more. This one, it was, I mean, damn, it was fast. I don't know. There was just something always happening. The tension was always high. It felt like there wasn't a whole lot of slowdown at all. And even when it was kind of slow, it was still like, well, we gotta get this shit done. I don't know. There was something always going on. But I don't think it's a bad thing.
Oh no. Well, and I actually think it benefits the movie a little bit. We actually increase the scope of character development in terms of it's not just Ethan this movie. You know, Paula Patton's character gets explored pretty thoroughly. Jeremy Renner's character gets explored very thoroughly, you know, like that a lot more than any side character has previously, you know.
That's true.
There's something to be said for the fact that while I love Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt, and he is obviously more than capable of doing this by his lonesome, it's nice to have a little bit more going on. And I think it's a better looking movie than 3 on pretty much every front. I think it's better edited. I think it's better written. I think it's I think it's a better movie. It's a better movie than 3. And you're right. It's not as good as 1. I end up splitting the difference personally. 8.75 is where I land with Ghost Protocol. Yeah,
not quite the 9, but damn close. Yeah, it's this one. It's I like that. It was. I don't know. I don't know what really more or what I would change necessarily. If it had the visual look of 1 somehow, that'd be awesome. If it could somehow be like timeless, as you know, could somehow fit that. But yeah, you're right. Like character wise, this was actually like really surprising of how it's not just Ethan, and I'm actually interested in Jeremy Renner's story and everything else. I don't know, like all these beats that are going on. I'm not like, oh, okay, get back to Ethan. I'm like, oh no, actually, this is intriguing. Like this.
Yeah, there's a sequence whenever Ethan Hunt is on the phone in another room, and it's just Paula Patton, Jeremy Renner, and Simon Pegg. It's a great fucking scene. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and that's something that you don't get in any of the other movies, man. You don't get a scene where we're going to focus on the rest of the crew real quick, and you'll wait for Ethan Hunt for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that. Yeah, we got a good split of ratings so far. I'm surprised. I guess I thought a lot of them were going to be just really really close. I thought we'd be having some repeats and stuff, but no.
There's pretty incredible variety. Now we are getting to 5, 6, 7, which I do think we're gonna live between 3 and 1. At least for me. We'll probably run into another 875 if I had to bet. We'll probably go lower than that, and we'll probably go higher than that. So there's at least that's just, and I'm not going to say which movie that applies to in any capacity, but yeah, I've got all of that in mind.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know, only 4. I guess halfway technically with the new one coming out, but yeah, with only 3 movies left, man. I mean, this has just been, I can't believe it's taken me this long to get here to this franchise.
That's how I was when I watched it ahead of Dead Reckoning, man. Like I watched all of them and I was like, oh my god, I've seen the light. Like it's genuinely, like, when it comes to my favorite franchises ever, man, it's top 3, top 4. And top 3 is more accurate, Star Wars.
Yep.
This.
Yep. Alien. I'd probably put this above Alien. I would say, at least.
I would too, just because while Alien and Aliens. Alien, I like more than any Mission Impossible movie. Aliens, I like more than most Mission Impossible movies. I don't think there's another Alien movie I like more than my favorite Mission Impossible movies, besides the Ridley Scott ones, which you haven't watched yet. We will cover those one day. They're fucking incredible.
That's true.
I would need to I maybe recency bias is coming into play here when I'm talking about Mission Impossible. Indy,
there.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. True. Damn.
Okay. MI is definitely top 4 or 5.
Dune's a new player in the game. That's only too hot, and that's up there for me. But I don't even know. I mean, there comes a point where this has like simply more. Like this has simply more movies than, like, that's why Alien. I might like those movies more, and they're in my vein more of sci-fi and everything. But this has much more to choose from, and much, I don't know, a lot longer and better. I don't know. Throughout.
Actually, as it stands right now, there are the same amount of Alien movies as there are Mission Impossible movies.
7 Alien movies?
And that's not including the Alien versus Predator ones. So there's 9 Alien movies.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, there's Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, Covenant, and Romulus.
Okay, I did not know I was that far off from finishing. I thought there was like 3 more. I could have wow. I was so
you've watched 3 of them then, right? So you have 4 more?
Yeah, I've only watched the OG, Aliens, and Romulus. I've been the only ones I've watched. So
yeah. Dude, Prometheus and Covenant are fucking good. Like we will eventually be covering the Alien franchise in full because I love those movies. And yeah, there's
if it's anything like this, I'll see the light there too. I feel like, it's like I don't know. I feel like I was just so into Star Wars and the franchise I've known for so long. I didn't even think to test the waters, but every time I have, it's like, oh my God, Lord of the Rings has entered the picture, and oh my God, like now am I?
Indy.
So
Indy,
Indy's that's tough to beat. That one's kind of tough.
Top 2.
So,
yeah, that's top 2 for me. I can't lie to myself there.
Yeah.
I've loved it. I've loved MI. I've loved covering it. It's cool to add the franchises up a little bit. We have covered we covered the original trilogy, and we've covered Indy in full, and we covered Lord of the Rings. Now we're here, and I like that we've kind of split them up with a little bit of variety in between, and it's a nice balance we've got going here on the Cinementalists. So if you're listening, if you've dug us, check out our other stuff and share it with a friend who likes movies, man. Like I said, we've covered Star Wars, we've covered Indiana Jones, we've covered Lord of the Rings. We've got a lot of goodies out there, so go ahead and check all that out. But I think with that, we can conclude this episode on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And we'll be back next week with Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. And remember, mission accomplished.